towards the dinner section of the hall, and we'll keep the dinner open for the the duration of the program, inshallah. Salawat Muhammad wa Muhammad. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'll say it one more time, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, that's much better. Jazakallah, thank you everybody for making it out here. I know it's not easy on a weeknight, on a rainy Friday, but we have some very important personalities to commemorate, to discuss, and to reflect upon. First personality that we want to think about this evening is the past week, a few days ago, we had the birth celebration of our ninth Imam, Imam Jawad, alayhi salam. And we didn't have the opportunity to get together to reflect upon that personality, but alhamdulillah, we have the opportunity to do that this evening. And to couple that celebration with and another celebration is something that we're very blessed to be able to do, which is that tonight is the 13th of Rajab, which is the birth celebration of our first Imam, Amir al-Mu'mineen, the commander of the faithful, Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. We're very excited about that. We also consider this to be our Father's Day. So for all of the dads, all of the brothers, all of the sons, we thank everyone for all the great work that you do to support your families and support this community. If I forget later, there are some commemoration gifts that we have for all of the brothers. You don't have to be a dad. You don't have to be, a brother, but everyone's a brother to someone. But those are in the back, and so please feel free to pick one up, before the end of the night, no matter what time you leave. Salawat Muhammad wa Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now we have a variety of people from across the community have prepared some special poetry or some recitations, and so we'll get started with some of those. We also have the pleasure of having our guest scholar here, Shaykh Jafar Muhibullah, who's visiting us from the Austin, Texas community. So we're very excited about not having him only for tonight, but also for the next 3 nights, inshallah, for the entire weekend. So we're very blessed to Shaykh Jafar. Thank him for taking the time to spend with us, and we look forward to gaining from his knowledge and from his experience. Salawat Muhammad wa Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now, before we begin our program with the recitation of the Holy Quran, I do want to remind everyone that these personalities are so big and so larger than life that we actually have a 2-part celebration that is not only tonight but also tomorrow. So for those of you who didn't get enough tonight, then there's plenty more celebration tomorrow, and that will start with Salat al-Maghrib, inshallah, followed by dinner/iftar. So please do your best to attend that program, and Shaykh Jafar will be here for that as well. And then also on Sunday, there's another program which will also start with Salat al-Maghrib. That would be the majlis for Sayyida Zainab and Islam alayha. And that will be, again, majlis recited by the lecture will be recited by Shaykh Jafar. Salawat Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. First, I'd like to please request a young brother to come and recite the Quran. Can I please have Brother Ali Hussein Zaidi to come forward to the stage? So we'll recite and begin the recitation with the Quran. Salawat Muhammad wa Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Thank you very much, Brother Arisan. That was excellent. Next, I'd like to call upon Brother Mujtaba Razvi. Are you here? Salawat Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal asr. Innal insana lafi khusr. Illa alladhina amanu wa amilus salihati wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr.
Jazakallah, thank you so much, Brother Mujtaba, for your recitation. Next, I'd like to please call upon Brother Muhammad Abid Zaidi. Can you please come forward? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Bismillah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wan-duha wal-layli idha saja. Ma wada'aka rabbuka wa ma qala. وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى ألم يمدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا ووجدك عائلا فأغنى وأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Thank you, Muhammad Abid. That was an excellent recitation. Thank you so much. Now I'd like to please request Brother Hussein to come forward, and we'll have another recitation from the Holy Quran. Salawat Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى وأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل لا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Jazakallah, Brother Hussein. That was an excellent recitation. Next, I'd like to call upon Brother Jafar al-Mansur to come forward, and he will complete the Quran program, I hope. And inshallah, we'll begin with the next part of our program. Salawat Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. للفقراء المهاجرين الذين أخرجوا من ديارهم وأموالهم يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانا وينصرون الله ورسوله أولئك هم الصادقون. والذين تبوأوا الدار والإيمان من قبلهم يحبون من هاجر إليهم ولا يجدون في صدورهم حاجة مما أوتوا والذين جاءوا من بعدهم يقولون ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان يقولون ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم صدق الله العلي العظيم.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Jazakallah, Brother Jafar, thank you so much for that recitation. Now to kick off our nasheed and recitation program for this evening, Brother Abbas Hussain has worked with a few of the children to arrange for a recitation, a special recitation, a group recitation. So I'd like to please request a couple of our young boys to come forward, Brother Ali Nasser, Brother Muhibullah Zaidi, Brother Mushibullah Razfi, and Zaki Hussain, wherever he plays. And they'll come to the stage and we'll get started with that. Salawat Muhammad wa Muhammad.
You'll get it in a few minutes. If you're a good boy, you'll get it in.
Hey, hold on. One second. Alright, 1, 2, 3, go.
La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Muhammadan Rasulullah. Aliyun waliyallah. Aliyun waliyallah. Aliyun waliyallah. Nadi Ali ya marhaban ajaib. Nadi Ali ya marhaban ajaib. Nadi Jawad لك الجوائز قول حمد وغامر سينجلي قول حمد وغامر سينجلي برحمتك يا الله برحمتك يا محمد just like the prophet in favor, I will call your name, Ya Shaykh. My strength is determination. My love for you is no question. To uphold this is my mission, and through you is my submission. Ali Safat of Allah, La ilaha illallah. The great servant of Allah. La ilaha illallah. Nadi Ali ya marhaban ajaib. Nadi Ali ya marhaban ajaib. Tajrun hal kafi nawaib. قول حمد وغامر سينجلي قول حمد وغامر سينجلي بعظمتك يا الله بنبوتك يا محمد بولايتك from that soil brilliant Lord, and this night there is our youth, like Akbar will fight for the truth, until that they speak of God here. We trust the head of our Amir, we call out your name without fear, we proudly say that we adhere. You are the truth of Allah, La ilaha illallah. You're the justice of Allah, La ilaha illallah. Nadi Ali لا إله إلا الله نادي علي يا مظهر العجائب نادي علي يا مظهر العجائب تجدون كلك في النوائب كل هم وغم سينجلي كل هم وغم سينجلي بأكرامتك يا الله بنبوتك يا محمد بولايتك. The Lord has forfeited visions. Ali in Allah's decision. Prophet's mission would be in vain without Ali taking its reign. Your great legacy I will teach to those who your name does reach. The youth will learn about Haydar. They will defeat their own Khaybar. The brave lion of Allah. La ilaha illallah. The beloved of Allah. La ilaha illallah. Nadi Ali. Ya mazhar al-ajaib. Nadi Ali. Ya mazhar al-ajaib. تجد قوما لك في النوائب كل هم وغم سينجلي كل هم وغم سينجلي بعظمتك يا الله بنبوتك يا محمد بولايتك يا علي.
اللهم صل على
One more loud salawat for the four young brothers. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And one loud salawat for Brother Abbas, who took a lot of time to help these guys to practice and train. Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Next, we'd like to continue the recitation program, and I'd like to please call upon Brother Jafar and Mansoor to come forward to provide a recitation for us this evening. Salawat Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي
علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي
علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي
علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي
أنير قلبي ونور دربي شفيع ذنبي علي علي وفي الغدير بدا مصيري أنا أميري علي علي له دعوني في جنون العالمين ولا يباهى روح باها فاطمي به أبالي لا أبالي دائمي قالوا آخرهم ترتيبا علي قلنا الأول قلنا الأول قلنا الأول
علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي 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 مولى علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي.
You are the pious, you are Imam al-Muttaqin. So many attributes, your character is pristine. You knew the secrets of Quran al-Hakim. You are the closest to Khatib al-Nabiyyin. You are my guide to Sirat al-Mustaqim. You are my leader, you are Amir al-Mu'minin.
علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي. علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي.
هواك ظلي فداك كلي سواك من لي علي علي. إذا جناني أحب ثاني فلا يداني علي علي. أبا ترابي أنت بابي لجنتي. إليك جئت فيك مت بجنتي. فخذ ولائي وانتمائي وحيرتي. قالوا من أرفع شأنا من علي. قلنا الأول قلنا الأول قلنا الأول علي.
علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي. علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي.
Master and battle, you are Hyder al-Karrar. Bravest of men, you are the Lion of Allah. Constant support to our beloved Rasulullah. You stood up and proclaimed La ilaha illallah. Is your fairer leader to follow, Ya Allah? We are the Shias of Ali, subhanallah. Ali Ali Mawla, Ali Ali Mawla.
علي علي مولى علي. علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي.
يزول همي وكل غمي بخير اسمي علي علي. قد اصطفاه لي الإله ومن سواه علي علي. أنا شعاري كالوفاء هواه لي. وكابن ياسر في المشاعر محفلي. بيوم خمي صاح دمي علي علي. قالوا الرابع في الخلفاء علي. قلنا الأول قلنا الأول
قلنا الأول علي. علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي. علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي.
Love of Ali is a blessing Allah's given me. From my heart to my soul, Ali completely. He is the humble, giving at night so secretly. He is the generous who gives charity freely. He is the pure one serving Allah sincerely. He is the commander of the faithful Shia.
علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي. علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي. علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي. علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي.
Ali Ali Mawla,
علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي. علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي علي مولى علي. اللهم صل على محمد.
Jazakallah, Brother Jafar. Thank you so much for that excellent recitation for Imam Ali alayhi salam. Next, I'd like to please call upon another young brother, Brother Musa Kazobash, who's just finishing his candy right now. And when you're ready, you may come to the stage. Salawat Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Musa. Bismillah.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna finish the candy.
Who is our prophet? Who is our prophet? Hazrat Muhammad, Hazrat Muhammad. Assalamu alayka, assalamu alayka. Ya Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah. Who is Ali? Who is Ali? Imam al-Awwaleen, Imam al-Awwaleen. Assalamu alayka, assalamu alayka. Amir al-Mu'mineen, Amir al-Mu'mineen. Who is Fatima? Who is Fatima? The Lady of Jinnah, the Lady of Jinnah. Assalamu alayka, assalamu alayka. Ya Sayyidah, Ya Sayyidah. Who is Hassan? Who is Hassan? The chosen one, the chosen one. Assalamu alayka, assalamu alayka. Ya Sayyidah, Ya Mujtaba, Ya Mujtaba. Who is Hussein? Who is Hussein? Sayyid al-Shuhada, Sayyid al-Shuhada. Assalamu alayka, assalamu alayka. Abu Abdullah, Abu Abdullah. These are Panditan, these are Panditan. The family of Fatima, the family of Fatima. Peace be upon them, peace be upon them. The Ahlul Isa, the Ahlul Isa.
Thank you so much, Brother Musa and Brother Yahya. Both of you did an excellent job with that recitation. So we've had a lot of really good kid recitations. Let's see if the adults can keep up. So I'd like to please first request Brother Sadiq Mirza to come forward to continue our recitation program. Salawat Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajjal farajah.
آواز بلند سلوات
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
آپ سب کو ولایت باسعادت مولا علی بہت بہت مبارک. چند بار مولا کی شان میں ایک آواز بلند سلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
لکھوں تو کیا لکھوں بھلا نقطۂ با کے باب میں. لکھوں تو کیا لکھوں بھلا نقطۂ با کے باب میں. علم کا بحر بے قرار بند ہے کوزہ آب میں. لکھوں تو کیا لکھوں بھلا بتلا رہے ہیں مہد میں اجدر کو چیر کر علی. بتلا رہے ہیں مہد میں اجدر کو چیر کر علی. دست خدا ہوں دیکھنا عالم میرا شباب میں. دست خدا ہوں دیکھنا عالم میرا شباب میں. لکھوں تو کیا لکھوں بھلا کرتے رہے سوال وہ کیا کیا لہد میں اور میں. کرتے رہے سوال وہ کیا کیا لہد میں اور میں. نعت علی کا ورد بس کرتا رہا جواب میں. نعت علی کا ورد بس کرتا رہا جواب میں. لکھوں
تو کیا لکھوں بھلا بس میں جہاں کی رونقیں دیتی رہی صدا مجھے بس میں جہاں کی رونقیں دیتی رہی صدا مجھے عقل سلیم لے چلی عقل سلیم لے چلی محفل بو تراب میں عقل سلیم لے چلی محفل بو تراب میں لکھوں تو کیا لکھوں بھلا نقطہ باب کے باب میں علم کا بحر بے قرار بند ہے کوزہ آب میں لکھوں تو کیا لکھوں بھلا ایک اور ایک چار بند مولا کی شان میں علی علی کے سوا کیا میری حیات علی علی کے سوا کیا میری حیات میں ہے نماز عشق علی میرے بات علی علی کے سوا کیا میری حیات میں پولیس رات سے کیسے نہ وہ سبک گزرے پولیس رات سے کیسے نہ وہ سبک گزرے شعور ناد علی جس کی بات بات میں ہے شعور ناد علی جس کی بات بات میں حسین آئے تو بھی دیے جلانے لگی حسین آئے تو بھی دیے جلانے لگی ہوا چراغ بجھانا تیری صفات میں ہے ہوا چراغ بجھانا تیری صفات میں ہے یہ کون کہتا ہے دنیا سے خالی ہاتھ گیا یہ کون کہتا ہے دنیا سے خالی ہاتھ گیا یہ دیکھو دامن شبیر میرے ہاتھ میں ہے یہ دیکھو دامن شبیر میرے ہاتھ میں ہے خدا بنا لیے پیدا کئی رسول ہوئے خدا بنا لیے پیدا کئی رسول علی علی کے سوا کیا میری حیات آواز بلند سلوات
Jazakallah, Brother Saleh. Thank you so much for your recitations. Now I'd like to please request Brother Taha Kazobash to come forward to continue our recitation program. Salawat Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
السلام علیکم ورحمۃ I was asked to keep it short, so we'll keep it short, and we'll take only like 5 seconds. Next. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad sallallahu ہر سو رواں ہوائے ہمارے طرف ہے ہر سو رواں ہوائے ہمارے طرف ہے باب قبول واہ ہے مرادوں کی شب ہے دل میں خوشی سرور نظر میں عجب ہے ساقی مجھے نہ چھیڑ کے تیرا رجب ہے رخ سے نقاب اٹھا کے نوید ظہور دے رخ سے نقاب اٹھا کے نوید ظہور دے حاضر ہے دل کا جام شراب طہور دے محمد وآل محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم چھیڑ دیا ہے ذکر مولا چھیڑ دیا ہے ذکر مولا منبر جانے حیدر جانے چھیڑ دیا ہے ذکر مولا چھیڑ دیا ہے ذکر مولا منبر جانے حیدر جانے کفر ہے گر یہ عشق علی کا کفر ہے گر یہ عشق علی کا کافر جانے حیدر جانے چھیڑ دیا ہے ذکر مولا او بنت اسد تو جائیں گی ہر حال میں کعبے کے اندر بنت اسد تو جائیں گی ہر حال میں کعبے کے اندر
در ہوگی دیوار کہاں سے، در ہوگی دیوار کہاں سے، مادر جانے حیدر جانے چھڑ دیا ہے ذکر مولا. محمد وعلى محمد صلوات. ایک دو شعر محمد وعلى محمد صلوات. ایک آدھ بند آج کل کا مسئلہ یہ ہے کہ جتنی منقبتیں آج کل پڑھی جا رہی ہیں اس سے میوزک کے ساتھ پڑھی جا رہی ہے. میرا بھی یہ سچے بھائی کی بیٹی کا نام آج کل ایکچولی وہ آئے میرے پاس کا بس محمد والے محمد صاحب. مدار علی آتے ہیں ہو گئی صبح، مدار علی آتے ہیں چھٹ گئے ظلم کے آثار علی آتے ہیں. سارے کونین کے سردار علی آتے ہیں، ہل اٹھی کعبے کی دیوار علی آتے ہیں. عرش سے فرش تلک نور جلی چھایا ہے، گھر میں اللہ کے اللہ کا ولی آیا ہے، گھر میں اللہ کے اللہ کا ولی آیا ہے. دیکھنے بھائی کو آتے ہیں محمد، دیکھو گود میں بڑھ کے اٹھاتے ہیں محمد، دیکھو اپنی آنکھوں سے لگاتے ہیں محمد، دیکھو خود زبان اپنی چساتے ہیں محمد، دیکھو مسکراتے ہوئے ہیں مدینے بسی کو دیکھا، آنکھ کھولی جو علی نے تو نبی کو دیکھا، آنکھ کھولی جو علی نے تو نبی کو دیکھا. محمد والے محمد صلی اللہ
Jazakallah Tahaba, thank you again for your recitations as always. Jazakallah. Next, I'd like to please call upon Brother Ali Abbas Hassan to come forward to conclude our recitation program before we move on to the speech. We have another one who has to finish the candy, right? Salawat Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Congratulations to all of you. I'm going to be really quick. Watch this. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. لگاتے ہیں دری نعرے چہرے مسکراتے، لگاتے ہیں دری نعرے چہرے مسکراتے ہیں، لگاتے ہیں دری نعرے چہرے مسکراتے ہیں. علی کے چاہنے والے خوشی
ایسے مناتے ہیں، علی کے چاہنے والے خوشی ایسے مناتے ہیں. ہماری بندگی مولا، ہماری زندگی مولا، نبی نے کہہ دیا مولا، جسے بس ہے وہی مولا. سکھایا ماں نے اپنی لوریوں میں یا علی مولا، سکھایا ماں نے اپنی لوریوں میں یا علی مولا. غدیر خم کا قصہ اپنے بچوں کو سناتے ہیں، علی کے چاہنے والے خوشی ایسے مناتے ہیں، علی کے چاہنے والے خوشی ایسے مناتے ہیں. کھلا کرتا ہے حج کے درمیاں خوشیوں کا دروازہ، طواف ایسا ہے ہوتا جھومتا ہے خانہ کعبہ. دلوں میں عظمت توحید لب پر یا علی مولا. خدا کے گھر علی پیدا ہوئے سب کو بتاتے ہیں، علی کے چاہنے والے خوشی ایسے مناتے ہیں، علی کے چاہنے والے خوشی ایسے مناتے ہیں. جو اپنے رخ کو پہلے دن سے ہی حیدر سے موڑے ہیں، علی کی پیغ کو دیکھا تو کتنی تیز دوڑے ہیں. فرار ایسے ہوئے آگے کہ پیچھے ان کے گھوڑے ہیں. ہم ان کا ذکر کرتے ہیں کہ جو عادی بھگوڑے ہیں. ہے عادت بھاگنے کی جن کو ہم ان کو بھگاتے ہیں، علی کے چاہنے والے خوشی ایسے مناتے ہیں، علی کے چاہنے والے خوشی ایسے مناتے ہیں.
Thank you so much, Brother Abbas, for the recitation and for concluding our program for the recitations. Now we'll move on to the lecture part of our program, and I just want to share a few words about Shaykh Jafar for those of us who may not know that much about him. Shaykh Jafar Muhibullah is the resident alim of the Islamic Association in Austin, Texas. He completed 10 years of Islamic seminary training in America and Iran. He completed his MA in Religious Studies at Duke University in 2005. He spent 3 years at the University of Texas at Austin, completing work towards a PhD in Arabic Studies. His interest is in classical Arabic, Persian, and Urdu literature, and specifically in Arabic literature in medieval Sicily. Since 2005, he has owned and managed his own translating and interpreting service business. With over 14 years experience in translating, teaching, and public speaking, Shaykh Muhibullah has made significant contributions to the Arabic translations of key Islamic academic and literary works. He has also completed his PhD at Tehran University. He currently resides in Austin, Texas. So with a loud salawat, please help me invite Shaykh Jafar to the member. Salawat Muhammad wa Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Okay, it's my turn now. Baba, I got all 5 categories. Because it's my turn now. Those things speak.
بر حبیب خدا ختم الانبیاء صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
بر وسیع خدا، بر وسیع رسول خدا صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد.
Working on a dissertation. صلى على محمد وعلى محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Inshallah, for the recent reappearance of Imam Zaman, another salat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. به نستعين. الحمد لله الذي جعل الحمد مفتاحا لذكري وسببا للمزيد من فضلي ودليل على آلائه وعظمته ثم الصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين أرواحنا له فداء. أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رجال لا تلهيهم تجارة ولا بيع عن ذكر الله وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة يخافون يوما تتقلب فيه القلوب والأبصار. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. First and foremost, I congratulate you all on the auspicious occasion which we are celebrating tonight, and that is the birthday of Imam al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi afdal salatu wassalam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
And as it was said before, the Islamic Father's Day, so to all the fathers and soon-to-be fathers or future fathers, congratulations on this auspicious day, and may we walk in the footsteps of Imam al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib, and may we be a father like Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib was a father to his own children, and the father to this ummah, as the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam he said to Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ya Ali, ana wa ant abwa hadhihi al-ummah, that oh Ali, you and I are the patriarchs of this ummah. We are the true fathers, whether by blood, those who are Sadat, or by spirit and soul, those who follow Muhammad and Muhammad. Also, as I stated that I guess you were not able to celebrate the birthday of Imam Jawad, so also I give all of you here congratulations on also the birth of Imam Jawad alayhi salatu wassalam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Inshallah, in these next few nights, the topic which I've chosen to speak about is Islamic economics, particularly in how we need to change our mindset of how we work. And subhanAllah, these two great individuals which we're celebrating tonight, these imams, our imams, Imam Jawad alayhi salatu and Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu. In fact, all of these Ahlul Bayt, they actually have established for us a way of life, that mindset which inshallah we want to speak about, because when we speak about Islamic economics or economics in general, we may think of, oh, well, it can have different aspects where we're looking at numbers and we're crunching numbers. We're not going to do that. You guys will all fall asleep. Or we can go through the ahkam. Okay, well, what are the ahkams of khums and zakat and what about sadaqah and all of these type of things where it can be used, not used, inheritance, all of these things that has to do with Islamic economics in practice, because it encompasses all of those things, the system of Islam. That, oh, well, why does a brother inherit twice as much as a sister? This is one of the things, unfortunately, sometimes even Muslims, they get stuck on this. Oh, well, there should be equality. And this is because our mindsets are not the mindsets of Islamic economics. And so we want to speak about this idea, not dealing with the numbers, not dealing with all of the ahkam, but dealing with a very important aspect of Islamic economics, and that deals with part of the ethics, the akhlaq and the etiquettes of Islamic economics. And this is what builds the foundation of Islamic economics, al-iqtisad Islami. And of course, we may have some familiarity with the book that Shaykh Muhammad Sadr, Dr. Sadr, rahmatullah alayhi, wrote, Our Economics. That's something you can go to, I think it's been translated into English, so you can go and you can read that. And that also deals with a particular aspect of Islamic economics, dealing with also theory, because that's also, when we talk about economics, well, there's economic theory, which system of economics. And of course, in Our Economics of Shaykh Sadr, rahmatullah alayhi, one of the main aspects that he is dealing with communism and the economic system that has been established by Marxists. Why? Because this is what was influencing a lot of the Muslim world during his lifetime. So this is one theory, the socialist theory of economics, the capitalist system. Again, we're not going to go into all of that. Why? Because you will fall asleep. This is also perhaps one of the bad things of having a majlis after you eat. So I have to make sure I choose a topic and express things in a way that, hopefully inshallah you guys will stay with. Salawat ala Muhammad. But anyway, just so that we can get some sort of, wrap our minds around this aspect of Islamic economics. If you haven't read Our Economics of Shaykh Sadr, he points out three things which kind of sets the foundation of Islamic economics. Three things that you'll find in a society, and that is wealth, milk. You'll find this idea or concept of what he calls Hurriya, but the market, because Islamic economics is also based on this idea of a free market, but a free market within the parameters of the Sharia. Because you have to know that, what is halal to sell, and what is haram to sell? What has value and worth, and what has no value and worth? Because there are certain things, I'll give you just one example so that you can understand this. So, at one point, or at least what you do find in the riwayat about blood, you couldn't sell blood. Why was this? Because during that time, it did not have a particular value to it, a particular halal value to it. Why? Because at that time, there was no blood transfusion of the same. And so you'll find in some of the riwayats that there's no value to that. Why? Because people, when they had blood at that time, or if they used blood, or for example, animal blood, they made blood pudding or they drank blood, which is haram. You can't drink that. But when we find that, at this moment in time that, it's possible that if someone has less blood, someone needs a blood transfusion, then yes, you can do blood transfusion. So therefore, someone goes and they say, okay, well, I'm going to give blood. If I give blood, I get paid this amount of money. MashaAllah, it's fine. So Islamic economics, or this idea of this free market, yes, is free and open, but it has to be based on those things which has value. The third aspect of the basis of Islamic economics that Shaykh Sadr also points out is this concept of adalat al-ijtima'i. So a just system. So in order for or you could say the values of Islamic economics, there must be a just system as well. Or in fact, any system of economics, if it is going to be a true system of economics that has value and is worth implementing, then it must establish justice, or it must be based on this idea and concept of social justice. And this is one of the beautiful things that we see about, again, if we just take Imam Jawad alayhi salatu salam and Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu salam. That if, let's put those who don't believe in Islam or Ahlul Bayt aside, but if the Muslims, if the Ummah simply practice those practices of Imam Jawad and Amir al-Mu'mineen, we will see that the Ummah would flourish economically like no other group of people or individuals. The Jud al-Jawad, the generosity of Imam Jawad alayhi salatu wasalam, we know that why he was called Jawad. Why? Because he was constantly giving. But there's a secret in that. And that secret, inshallah, over these next couple of nights, we'll speak about that, we'll indicate on it, that in that actually strengthens your economic system. It strengthens the community. It does not weaken it. Many of us, we say, oh, well, if I give and keep giving, then I won't have anything left. But the opposite is actually true. Or if we take Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam, that and I've mentioned this in several of my lectures, that even when the UN, they examined different government structures, they all came out and said that, well, the most just system of government was that established by Imam al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. But you cannot establish a just system of governance without having a strong and just economic system. And this is why we see also in Nahj al-Balagha, that's where Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam, he was very strict, especially with those who were in government, in his government that he appointed, and those who are especially overseeing Baytul Mal, the treasury. Very, very strict with it. And when it came to just distribution of wealth and those who were actually in need, very, very just and very upright and very firm with those individuals. So inshallah, hopefully tonight, I just want to maybe point out three aspects of this Islamic economics, because on one hand, what Shida Sadeh states about this establishment of a just or social justice, that Islamic economics depends on social justice. And then he points out two aspects of that social justice. He says one is takaful, and that is social responsibility. That anyone who's going to live by those principles of Islamic economics, he has to understand that, well, I have a responsibility in society, and to the individuals in society. When it comes to wealth, when it comes to finances, it's not just, I grab and grab and I grab and I grab and it's all mine. No, there's a social responsibility that each individual has within that society. Number one. Number two, this idea and concept of tawazun. And what is tawazun? Tawazun, in some sense, means to interact with one another based on this concept of justice or economic justice or economic equality. So we can't say that, well, you know what, and this is just an example, but, well, you know what, because I'm wealthy, and maybe only two of you wealthy, then we have this exclusive club that, guess what, no one else can get into. Why? Because they don't have the wealth that we have. We're going to keep them out. Not only are we going to keep them out, we're going to make sure that we maneuver in a way in the society that they'll never be able to become a part of our social club. This is against this concept of social justice and this concept of tawazun in Islamic economics. And so that is something which is greatly needed. And this mindset which I'm speaking about, this akhlaq Islami, this Islamic ethics of economics or economic ethics, not only just pointing out three things. It has to do with this part of the Islamic economics, how it fits into social justice. And we'll touch on some of the other aspects as well. But anyway, 3 things, inshallah, if we get to them tonight. If not, we'll leave some of them for tomorrow, or at least the last one for tomorrow. One is the role of faith, iman, and taqwa. Secondly, this idea and concept of ethics and our finances. And thirdly, something which I call, you could say, positive religious economics. And I'll explain it once we go to it. And this is something, the topic itself, I would say, is very important, very important. Unfortunately, it's not spoken about a lot, especially in the Jawad. But when we look at the world itself, just so we can understand what is the importance of this and what is the importance of understanding it. When we look at even the world itself, when we look at even where we're living right now, we see that one of the problems that seems to not be getting better but getting worse is, you could say, personal wealth. Personal wealth. Financial, people are working, but the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. And as the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, then those who are what they call the middle class are the ones who get hit the hardest with taxes. Completely opposite of Islamic economics. When you pay your homes, it's like, how much do you have left over? Your homes is more. Who has less money left over? Okay, you still may pay homes, but your homes is less. But without realness. So at least the illusion is that, if you're wealthy, super wealthy, let's give you a tax break, right? Because you're creating jobs. Actually, this is not true. Actually, the finance minister, if I remember the documentary, I'll mention it, but the finance minister under Clinton, he actually quit working in Washington, quit as the minister of economics. Why? Because he understood. He was like, no, this is true. This is false. And then so he's trying to overturn that. He says, why? Because the wealthy don't actually create more wealth. Why? Because they earn a lot of wealth and they just put it in the bank and they don't put it back into the economy to continue to turn the economy. And so this is why the rich keep getting richer, the poor keep getting poorer, and the middle class, they get hit with most of the taxes, and this is why some actually end up falling out of the middle class and becoming poor. They were once making money, decent money, but then their financial situation hit to a point where now they are just barely making it, or because inflation, then they actually begin to fall below the poverty line. Because it's not based on its idea and concept of justice. But even the believers, if we're living in such a situation, if we follow that model of Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdal salatu wassalam, then you will see that the Ummah itself, despite what other people are doing, the Ummah, if we change the mindset of how we work and how we operate together as a Ummah, that even, no matter how bad things get, that at least the Ummah will be safe. At least the Ummah will have strength among themselves to weather any type of situation. You want to know where the proof is? The proof is in the Sirat of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We're at the wisdom of why Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that when he moved the Ummah after the Hijrah, that the Ansar and the Muhajir, he established between them a brotherhood, a united front. And this is also one of the meanings of tawazun as well. That a solidarity and a unity, kind of this Not only economic equality, but this solidarity, financial solidarity between the ummah. And why did he make that brotherhood between the Muhajir and Ansar? Because the Muhajir, they left everything behind. Most of them left everything behind. So they came to Medina with nothing. Some of them simply with the clothes on their back. Some just, they left everything behind. So now how are they to live and to sustain themselves? This is Rajab and Ansar. They're told, well, we live in Medina, we already have our economic basis, and so when the Muhajir comes, the Prophet says, you and this person are brothers. This person left all of his wealth in Mecca. So now he's your responsibility to take care of. If he needs to trade, if he needs to learn some trade or business, help him out. If he needs to eat, invite him to your house when it's time to eat. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. But in that also, there's a barakah for that mu'min who is inviting the other believer to his house to eat. And this is well known. That when you have guests at your home, it brings barakah into your house. It brings barakah into your house. But that also goes back to this first aspect of changing our mindset with regard to our finances in Islamic economics. Faith, Iman, and Taqwa. That with faith and Taqwa and understanding just this simple principle that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam he established in the very early history of Islam. Then we will see that it will help our wealth grow. Why? Because we're opening the doors of barakah into our home. We're opening the doors of barakah into the ummah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he states this in Surah Al-A'raf, where he says, وَلَوْ أَنَّ أَهْلَ الْقُرَىٰ آمَنُوا وَاتَّقَوْا. He says, if the people of the Qura, Ahl al-Qura, people of Medina, if they believe, آمَنوا وَاتَّقَوْا, and they had taqwa, لَفَتَحْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ بَرَكَاتِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. And we will open for them what? The barakah. The blessings of what? Of the heavens and the earth. But it takes iman, and it takes taqwa. Do you understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is placing the best system of economics in your hands? But a part of taking advantage of that, faith, iman, taqwa, part of taking advantage of that is, I'm going to be like Imam Jawad. I'm going to be generous. Why? Because in this generosity, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's going to pay me back 1,000-fold. This is a barakah of Samawat. But when we go against that, then what happens? The barakah from our lives, the barakah from our wealth, it goes. One of the examples that we also have in the Quran itself, one of the individuals who was by the name of Tha'laba Ansari. He was one of those people who were in Medina who believed, who said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He had a very, subhanAllah, he went to the opposite direction. But Tha'laba, according to the history, that again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed him with what he needed. But one day he came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he asked Rasulullah, he says, Ya Rasulullah, make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make me wealthy. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes me wealthy, he says, I will give. And he's right. Not only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, he states this, but Rasulullah, he states this, that when you give, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives back. So when he asked Rasulullah to make him wealthy, to make dua for him to gain wealth, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, no, he says, you have what you need. He came back and said, Ya Rasulullah, really, make dua that I gain wealth. And I will give sadaqah, I will give charity. Rasulullah again, second verse. No, go. You have what you need. Again, he wasn't poor where he was starving or anything, no. But he just wanted more. Third time he comes back to Rasulullah, and Rasulullah says, this is only according to one of the narrations that he inherited this symbol, according to another one that Rasulullah ﷺ gave him some of the spoils of war. So Tha'laba, he went out and he began to make business. As business grew. To the point where he was only able to come, like before he would come and make salat with Rasulullah, almost every day. But then there came a point where, every once in a while he would come to a Jum'ah, that again, the sheep and the herd that he bought became so big that he had to move on the outskirts of Medina. A lot of wealth. Then he completely stopped coming to the masjid, stopped praying. When it came time to collect the zakat, so Rasulullah said one of the zakat collectors to come and collect the zakat. And so when the zakat collector went to collect the zakat, Tha'laba says, what? He said, what? He says, no, what are you doing? You think I'm Ahl al-Dhimma, that you're going to take wealth from me? So the zakat collector says, no, this is zakat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Aqimu salat wa atu zakat. The jizya is something different. Something different. So he refused to give zakat. And then when finally, at one point, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam saw Tha'laba, he says, Waylaka ya Tha'laba. Waylaka Tha'laba. Woe be unto you. It's like, I told you, you had what you needed. Meaning, Tha'laba, he didn't have the capacity to take care of this extra wealth that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him. Because with that wealth comes what? Takaful, comes social responsibility. That as you yourself said, if you gain more, you will gain. Verses, you want to understand that aspect of Tha'laba. So verses 75 to 78 of Surah Al-Tawbah. It's about Tha'laba. And you see the way he comes and he acts, but then around verse 77, then what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala call this individual and what he's considered? Munafiq. Because he said, he had in his heart one thing. He made a statement that, you give me, Ya Rasulullah, I will become wealthy and I'm going to give. But he gave that. Though he received blessings from Allah. So that first principle of changing our mindset with regards to Islamic economics and finance is having Iman and having taqwa. Knowing that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he gives us a blessing, and everything Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us is a blessing. Part of that, we have to give back in our homes, in our zakat, in sadaqah. And trust me, by giving that, it only brings more back, not only to our personal life, but also to the wealth of our community, to the ummah. To the ummah. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
I don't want to be too long because all of these points, we can speak volumes of it. Just simply to touch on some of these things so that we can change our mindsets. The second thing is this idea and concept of ethical economics, akhlaq and iqtisad. And this has to do with the verse that I recited in the beginning, so verse 37 of Surah An-Nur, so chapter 24 of the Quran, verse 37, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and this is the way that the believer should be. رجال لا تلهيهم تجارة ولا بيع عن ذكر الله وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة. That should be men, or should be individuals, should be human beings that neither business, tijara, or bay, or some sort of business transaction that we want to engage in, it disturbs us or takes us away from what? Remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Making our salah or giving the zakat. We gave the example of Tha'laba with regards to zakat. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, again, this is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emphasizes. That if we, inshallah, if we establish the Jummah, Salat al-Jummah, just take Surah al-Jummah. Meaning that every week we have to remind ourselves of this. In fact, not every week, every day. But if we can't remind ourselves of this every single day, then at least on the Jummah, keep reminding ourselves of this. As we read in Surah Al-Jum'ah, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِذَا نُودِيَ لِلصَّلَاةِ إِلَى يَوْمِ الْجُمْعَةِ فَاسْعَوْا إِلَى ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وَذَرُوا الْبَيْعَ. That when you're called to Salat on the day of Jum'ah, فَاسْعَوْا, run, hasten to Salat, وَذَرُوا الْبَيْعَ, and leave your business behind, leave the trade behind, and come and remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ذَلِكُمْ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. That should I continue this or should I go to the Salat? Salat is better. If you know. In kuntum. But unfortunately, we don't know. Again, that iman and taqwa, again, we're not understanding that this is better for us. Not simply for our iman, yes, for our iman, for our faith, for our connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but also for our business, our economics. وَاسْعَوْا إِلَى ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وَذَرُوا الْبَيْعَ ذَلِكُمْ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ إِن كُنتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ فَإِذَا قُضِيَتِ الصَّلَاةُ فَانْتَشِرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَابْتَغُوا مِنْ فَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. And when the Salat is finished, return back to work. Remember Allah. Seek the fadl, the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because that blessing will come. SubhanAllah, in the beginning, mashallah, this is one of the openers I was opening with the hamd and praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the hamd and praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib, alayhi salatu wasalam, in Nahj al-Balagh. Where he says, Alhamd, what is the barakah of hamd? Alhamd is what? Thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hamd is also what? That when we make salat, every day, we recite Surah Al-Hamd, Surah Al-Fatih. We recite that also on Jum'ah. That hamd, and what is the barakah of that hamd? This is sababan lil-mazid min fadlih. That with that praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. With that hamd, it is the sabab, it is the reason for what? Increasing that fadl from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in Surah Al-Jum'ah? That after you've made your salat, after you prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after you made that hamd, فَاسْأَوْا, is this go back. فَإِذَا قُضِيَتِ الصَّلَاةُ فَانْتَشِرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَابْتَغُوا مِنْ فَضْلِ اللَّهِ. He says, go back to the earth, go back to your business, go back to your worldly life, and seek the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But that fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to come the way it could come if you didn't do the hamd of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You didn't thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You weren't remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our work, this is from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Our business is what? Is ibadah. But only if we understand it as ibadah. But the greater ibadah, lesson, yeah, that's a minor ibadah when it comes to Salat al-Jum'ah. When it comes to Salat al-Jum'ah, إِذَا نُودِيَ لِلصَّلَاةِ مِنْ يَوْمِ الْجُمْعَةِ فَاسْعَوْا إِلَى ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وَذَرُوا الْبَيْعَ. Yes, your business, earning a livelihood for yourself, halal livelihood for yourself and your family, that's ibadah. But when it comes to the salat, keep back. Why? Because this is a greater ibadah. And this ibadah will actually make you more prosperous in life. Again, subhanAllah, this is trying to stay with in a time that you're not all getting too tired. But one of the things that Imam Muhibullah Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi states, I think we can couple this with this hamd, as he says, praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that which will increase that blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that fadl. I just want to take one aside just for a moment, so that we truly understand fadl, this idea of fadl. And those who understand the Arabic, they know what I'm speaking about. But what is fadl?
Great.
It's great, but what it actually means, when you look it up in Arabic, you take an Arabic dictionary, al-fadl is something that is given to you, but you haven't really earned. Meaning that, what exactly have you done to actually deserve it? So that is what is fadl. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, look, after you made that hand, then go on earth, what do you do with fadl? Seek the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Seek that which, again, this small action of yours really doesn't equal the pay that you're going to get. Because you really haven't done anything. You haven't done much. Because imagine, no, truly think about it. If we're seeking that blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so what is it that we can actually do to repay Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all that He's given us? Our life, our breath, our family. What have you done? First of all, what do we do in order to gain this anyway? So all of that is the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning that, in other words, if we think in terms of economics, that your pay is greater than the work you're doing. So your hamd, alhamdulillah, is not equal to all of the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. But even with that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give you. And this is also why when it comes to even our ibadah, our work, he says that I hate the individual. Rajab. This is what type of person does he dislike? And the kasalana fi amri dunya. So that person doesn't make effort in his worldly affairs. So if he's lazy with regards to that, Imam Ali says, I don't like that person. Why? He gives a reason. He says, because if he's lazy with regards to that, he says, when it comes to his life of the hereafter, he says, because in his في أمر آخرته وأكثر, he's going to be even more lazy. And this is because we're not understanding that work is ibadah. But then the greater ibadah is our salat. That if I'm at work, hey, it's time for salat, I can make every effort to, I need to make salat. Or, hey, I need this time. Well, hey, my lunch break is going to be this. See, this is a part of, this is also on the side. Try to cut down on the side so we don't get too long. But, like some of the poetry, because I saw that some of it was really long. But, they kind of cut it down so that, we don't get too. So I'll try to cut down as well. So. But, as I was saying, so when we look at the Islamic system of affairs, our life is centered around our salat, our ibadah. Not the other way around. A lot of times we organize our life around what? Around work. Oh, I gotta be at work at this time, I gotta be at this work. Okay, I'll try to find some time to make salat. No, it's like, no, I'm gonna make salat, and then I'll find time to work. Completely different mindset. Completely different mindset. Versus, oh, hey, I gotta go punch these people's clock or this person's clock and whereas the time clock of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gets forgotten. And God forbid that sometimes unfortunately it happens, but this is because our mindset's not in the right place. Sometimes, oh, hey, I worked this really late night shift, and then for Salatul Fajr, I can't even get up. My Salatul Fajr is Qada. Allahu Akbar. But the barakah of your work is dependent on alhamdulillah, thanksgiving to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Salawat. I'll try very quickly to give this last point so that, if we have time, otherwise I can leave it for tomorrow. So the third point I want to kind of point out is this idea of a positive religious economics. And why have I named this? Because at least within some of the writings about Islamic economics, there's this idea, this concept of what they say, nafyu sabil. And nafyu means like negative. So I thought, oh, hey, maybe the best translation for this is a counter economics. But then when you look at counter economics, it's like, oh, wait a minute, counter economics is actually a term, but it's dealing with a lot of illicit stuff. Things which are, really debaucherous. For example, if it was a time of prohibition, you're selling alcohol, or you're running moonshine, or running some, nightlife type of stuff, and like, even cryptocurrency is considered as counter economics. If you look at today's aspect of economics. So I was like, no, you can't use that concept. But we don't want to get it confused. But this is, as I say, a positive religious economics. And what is this positive religious economics based upon? As some of the ulama they stated, they said that, again, it's countering a negative aspect of economics. And where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He states, وَلَنْ يَجْعَلَ اللَّهُ لِلْكَافِرِينَ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ سَبِيلًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, I'm going to paraphrase this, those who disbelieve that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot give them an upper hand over the believers. What does this mean? Especially when we look at the Muslim world today. Most of the economic system, well, even the business mindset, it's not based on an Islamic model. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't give them the upper hand over the believers, so how is it that most of the Muslim world is following a non-Islamic system, rather being at the forefront of economic, or at the forefront of finances, forefront of, again, economic theory, forefront of, again, being the example, the best model for the world. This is how we should run our finances, based on this idea and the system of social justice. So how is it that the tables got turned? And what it means here is that Allah didn't do that. Muslims did it to themselves by not following that system that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is outlining for you. You did it to yourselves. I'll give you one example, and this is, I'm just being real here, so that, again, go do the research, go see, and not pointing out any particular nation, but it happened. The East India Company. that the East Indian Company, when they went into the subcontinent, and how they took over. Again, the Muslims, they were in control of most of South India. But how did these tables turn? Again, the East Indian Company, they came in, again, with their deception, with their lies, with their trickery, not based on a concept of social justice, but social injustice. Divide, conquer, plot people against each other, so that what? So that they can take over and take the resources. Read their history. It's not something that is a secret. Let's see what happened. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that He has not given the upper hand. But because we have failed to follow that system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that system where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He states against Surah Al-Munafiq, that we're supposed to remind ourselves every week. Yes, every day, but if we don't get it every day, at least every week. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَلِلَّهِ عِزَّةُ وَلِرَسُولِهِ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. That izzah, dignity, power, respect is for who? For Allah, for His Prophet, and for the mu'mineen. But of course, that means that we have to believe in the total system that Allah has placed before us in the Quran, in the example of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in the example of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib, in the example of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim after salatu wasalam. That is the lifestyle we should live. When it comes to not simply our ibadah, coming in the masjid to pray, but when it comes to, again, our finances, when it comes to, again, our interaction. And this is just one good caveat, and since it's the Islamic Father's Day, let me give you one secret for financial success. And this is for my brothers, fathers, and soon-to-be fathers or future fathers, or those who are married. And this is one of the things that even some of the ulama, they say, again, we all know the dua of the mother, right? It's very precious, correct? Also, the dua of one's wife is very valuable. This is what some of the ulama, they say, listen, say in your house, says don't be your own. Be that person in your home that your wife and your children, they love you. But especially your wife, because when she makes dua for you, especially if she sees that you're struggling, and if she makes dua, Ya Allah, he's trying to do his best. Ya Allah, give him the wealth that he needs in order to take care of me, to take care of his children, his family. We said that dua is mustajab. That dua. One of the secrets of financial security, Islamic economics, to maintain the dignity of your household. That your wife, she's praying. Because she said, oh yeah, he's, as the Prophet said, going out and securing that financial stability for yourself. He said, oh, this is like struggling in the way of Muslim. This is like, going out into the battlefield, yeah? Because when you go out into that work, you're going into a battlefield. And your wife is like, oh Allah, protect him. Oh Allah, make sure he gets halal. Oh Allah, make sure he's safe and comes back to you sound and sane. This is one of these. This is where you need. One other verse I'll give story example for that kind of story. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He also says in Surah Al-Munafiqun, this is verse 9, where He says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He holds the treasures of the heavens and earth. How do you open up treasures of the heavens and earth? Through your praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Through living the lifestyle of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Through your generosity, like Imam Jawad, and like all of the Imams. And when we are that way, when we are giving, when we are sustaining the ummah, and also those who are less fortunate in our ummah, and strengthening the ummah. Those individuals who will also themselves, they will pay back into the ummah. They will keep the ummah strong. Not those who are they're wondering, as Muslims, as those who are following the example of the Ahlul Bayt, yes, we help everyone. But the mu'mineen, especially, as Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu he says, again, when you see taking bread to those people who didn't even accept the knowledge of the Ahlul Bayt. He says, yeah, I'll give to them. He says, we have to help. And he's telling this to one of the Shia. He says, but for you, he says, I'll take the shirt off of my back and give it to you. This is the mindset of Islamic. One individual who didn't believe this and operated in this way was a simple person. His name, or at least his nickname, they call him Murshid Shidawi. And you guys probably haven't heard of him, but maybe you've heard of Rajab Ali Khayat. You guys heard of Rajab Ali Khayat? Very simple man, but became like among the Urafa. So one of his friends as well was also among the Urafa. Very simple guy. Murshid Shidawi. Why was he called Shidawi? Because he this is like right before the revolution. I think he died right before the Islamic revolution. But he had a kebab restaurant, chilo kebab, rice and kebab. But this rice and kebab restaurant, again, people understood that, well, mashallah, he's doing okay business. But he wasn't doing that business to be wealthy. He was doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, to maintain his livelihood, he was enough to make his livelihood. They said that, and again, this is someone that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because of his action, gave him wisdom. And this is why they call him Murshid. Murshid, someone who guides others. Even to the point that you had some ulama, they would go and sit with him. He didn't study in the house, but his connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from what? From the type of business and the way he did business. That business was based upon what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Based on Imam and Taqwa. Understood that when I give for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah is going to give back. So they said that outside of the restaurant of Murshid Shidawi, there were two lines. One line, they said this was a longer line and it was a smaller line. So the one line were people who came and they paid for their food. Even those who didn't have money. Some people, they didn't have money at the moment, but it was like, oh, you know what? I want to pay, but I'll pay in installments. So what restaurant can you go and pay in installments? Get a good deal and pay in installments. Well, in this type of system, you can't. They'll think this way. Well, unless you're using your credit card, and using your credit card, then you're getting interest, and you can pay in installments, but it's going to be a different price. So one line was that short line where, the long line people were coming there, they said they were going to pay. Some of them paid right away, some of them paid in installments, and the other line were for those poor people. They couldn't pay. And so they stood in their line. And so Murshid Shidawi knew that, okay, well, this is the line of people who can't pay this stuff. And he didn't treat either one differently. If there was a seat open up, who was the first coming, he would sit them down. The people who didn't have money at all, he gave them just as good of a meal. Even there was one story of one person came to get a meal for someone, and as he was leaving, boom, he fell. And everything fell on the ground. So Murshid Shidawi came to him, he says, no, nothing happened. Gave him a complete, exact same order that he had. So there you go. Didn't ask for any more money or anything. It was said that there was one student, he would come and this poor student, he's doing some work for someone else to bring their food. Perhaps, I guess the Uber at that time. come and get the food, and he was getting it. But he never ate. So Murshid Chiloi, he always notices. And so he would always wrap in kebab, and so bring, so here you go, no, you eat, sit down and eat. He said, eat before you go back. To the point that he gave away so much. And one of the students of Rajab Ali Khayat, at one point he noticed that again the restaurant was, again not having, they were running out of food, so sometimes he had to close early. I said he came to Murshid Chiloi, he's like, what type of business are you? He said, what type of business? You're not making anything. You're not going to be able to sustain yourself. He says, look, as long as that light is on, he says, this is my duty. This is what I have to do. People come, they eat, if they can pay, they pay, if they can't pay, they can't pay. They said also one of the things about Murshid Chiloi as well, that his cash register was open, even to the people who came in. So some people will come in, they will pay, some people are like, oh, hey, I need some money. So they will take out what they need. And he was like, so how many businessmen, even could we do business like that? Would we even think about doing business like that? But he did it, he was like, oh, these people are believers, they're not that. Oh, if they're in need, hey, my cash register is open. Oh, you're in need, hey, I have food, come and eat. The barakah is life, because if you're eating, you're not paying, you're my guest. For the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Mira Ali, the student of Rajab Ali, said that. Came to him and was like, so he's like, well, if my light is on, that means I have food. If I have food, if people need to eat, they're going to eat. Whether they have money to pay for it, or they don't. He says, Allah. The barakah is from Allah. So Mirza Ali, he went out to the market, the bazaar, he went and he was like, hey, who owes him money? Because Murshid Chiloi himself, he didn't go. But Mirza Ali, he went out and he collected money from those who they owed Murshid Chiloi. Some perhaps even gave on top of that. And then so Mirza Ali, he bought 3 years worth of rice. And then he brought meat that was really sufficient that, once more he can so even till the end of his life, he was given. He ran this restaurant. But for what? If you think about it. And on what principle? For the sake of it. Make sure that if there's a believer who's in need, who needs to eat, whether they got money or not, then subhanAllah, come, eat. Why? Because this is the barakah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he realizes that whatever we have in this world, it's not because we've done something great, but rather it's the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we too, inshallah, hopefully we can take the example of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib, alayhi salatu, the example of Imam Jawad, the example of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad alayhi salatu. We recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's grace and blessing upon us. Maybe it can change this mindset that we have with regards to how we work and interact with others. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make all those who are poor, especially among the not wealthy, whether it is financial wealth or with that wealth of Imam, so that we operate like this. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to close the doors of faqr, of poverty before us, and open up His doors of wealth. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive our sins and cover our shortcomings. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us our needs. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy upon our deceased ones. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hear those who are ill among our friends and family members. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hasten the reappearance of Muhammad Zaman, make us among his helpers, his companions, and those who sacrifice their lives for him. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. اللهم أغني كل فقير من المؤمنين والمؤمنات اللهم صد فقرنا بغناك اللهم اغفر ذنوبنا واستر اللهم اغفر ذنوبنا واستر عيوبنا وقضي حوائجنا واشف مرضانا وارحم امواتنا وعجل فرجنا من صافي العصر والزمان واجعلنا من اعوانه وانصاره والمستشهدين بين يديه وتحت لواء بحق محمد واله الطاهرين.
اللهم صل على